First and foremost, giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh. Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Racha Kwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Shalom to the elect. 144,000 first and foremost, pushing his truth in all sincerity in the four quarters of the earth. Hey, Lord willing, we be at that number. I'm your brother Tobiah Yakuna. All right, coming at you with another video. Lord willing, it's edifying. Okay, this is so much stuff going on, man. And it seems like I always start my videos like that, but it is, man. This sometimes I just don't even know where to start, man. Let me try to pull something from just a real quick from breaking news. It says U.S. and Israel prepare for war with Iran. Maximum alert, quote, declared. So, I mean, you're just seeing a lot of things adding up. I don't even want to get into all that, but it's like certain folks, certain institutions, I guess you would say, move in a certain way for a reason, man. You see this WhatsApp, it just did an update. YouTube just went down yesterday for a hot second. It was weird. You could just tell these big corporations or businesses, when they start doing things, you just know that that's like a signal of something that's happening in the earth. And then you get this all of a sudden out of the blue, U.S. Israel prepare for war with Iran. All right. So, hey, we know that, the scriptures speak about the least of the flock, drawing them out, and the them is America, which is Babylon the Great, pursuant to the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter, right? That whore that rides the beast back, the beast being NATO and the EU. You also got these troops, brother posted, doing exercises in, see if I can find it real quick, doing exercises in, it says 13 countries participate in NATO drills off the coast of, off of the Baltic Sea in Germany. But it's excluding America. And we know prophetically that goes to, how does it say? It goes to, let the weak say I'm strong. Also speaks about the statue in Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar's statue with the feet of iron and partially iron, partially clay. That's talking about the weak alliance between the union of these EU and NATO nations. So let me grab this real quick, not to get too far off track. I just want to, Jeremiah 50:45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. So the modern day Babylon is America. All right. The Chaldeans are the witches and the warlocks of ancient Babylon. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock is Amalek, the tiny tops. All right. It says, surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So they've been, Net and BB, that dude, he's been dancing with Nero 47, that cruel lord in the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter, for some time now, man. And this is what this prophecy is saying, man. Eventually, the least of the flock is Amalek, okay? The nation of Amalek, which is those people those small, tiny top people in Israel right now, you know, posing to be the Lord's chosen people, you know, and they're not. You know, you can tell real quick that they're not, because the scripture said when the Lord's people enter into that land again, there would be no war. Okay, and you see war everywhere, right? And then also, you know, they don't keep the commandments, man. You know, they're full-fledged. They're all about some, you know, alphabet community stuff. I'll just put it like that. You know, I believe Tel Aviv is one of its nicknames is Pink City. All right. So, anyways, it says, sure that the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right. So, you know, that relationship between America and you know, the Israelis, these Israelis is going to pull them into World War III. All right. And we're just seeing that, you know, I just mentioned that. Brother posted that in the chat. As breaking news, U.S. and Israel prepare for war with Iran. All right. What does the scripture say about, you know, the war, you know, you know, this is the book of in Revelation chapter 9 and verse 12. One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. That's talking about World War I, right? We already been through World War II. It's also talking about World War III. So when you go to Revelation 11 and 14, it says the second woe is past. And you have to explain, you know, goes in, because the scriptures talk about the Second World War. But it says the second woe, when it says woe, it means war, is past. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right? So relatively quickly after the Second World War, the Third World War is going to pop off. And that's the War of Armageddon. This is Revelation 16 and verse 16, 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments. Yeah, this is Yahweh Shai. Well, so like, yeah. I'll just read. It says, Revelation 16 and 15, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. So we're supposed to be walking, you know, to the best of our ability, you know, doing these laws, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability, all right? But we're not going to be saved by the law. We're saved by faith. But, hey, this is what we do to try to keep our garments clean, man. Our garments is basically our standing with the Lord, man, before he comes. You know, that marriage with the bride, all right? We being the bride, Lord's bride, he being the bridegroom. In verse 16, he said he gathered them together into a place called, in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon. Or it says Armageddon, but it's Armageddon in the Hebrew. And it means, you know, valley of troops. All right. So like a correction, that's mountain of troops. Armageddon means mountain of troops. Hey, these devils are gonna and they're gonna get busy out there in the Levant region. That Levant region is what they call the Middle East, and they're gonna bring all these nations into you know, World War III. You know, you got the NATO and the EU doing these drills, but the scriptures speak about the beast hating the whore. All right, and that's just in Revelation 17 and 16, and 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So you see a separation there, because, hey, American troops aren't over there with those you know, those NATO troops. You know, that's a separation. They're part of NATO. And the scriptures speak about division, right? You know, a house divided, you know, can't stand. Roughly paraphrasing, this is the book of Mark chapter 3 and verse 25. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. So ultimately, that's what's going to happen, man, to these Edomites. You're seeing it all crumble. This is Daniel's, the feet of Daniel, man. I mean, the feet of the statue in the book of Daniel 7, right? Let's see. All right. The feet of iron and clay. All right. And so Yahushua, he's going to come back. Daniel, the second chapter, he's going to come back and destroy those feet, those weakened feet, those feeble feet, when he comes back, man. In his glorious state, man. He's going to come back not as not on a donkey, not humble on a donkey, but he's going to come back as an angelic force riding, as it say in the book of Revelation. All right. This is the book of Revelation chapter 19 and verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. Yeah, Yahushua come to the volume of the book. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Yeah, so he's going to come with a fleet of so-called UFOs, man, a fleet of chariots. Now the mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. He shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So Lord willing, that was edifying, giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh Shem El Shaddai Shem Echad Kodash. Shalom.